this area here, there's some steps leading up. And there's quite a lot of shadow underneath, so I've just started it off. What I've done, I've put a little grey in, and I've put a little bit of my ochre, the two guide colours, remember, all the way along these are using. Now the other colour I'm going to use is quite a fierce colour. It's the sepia, dark sepia, and I very, very lightly touch this on top of that. And what will happen is we'll get a lovely shadow there. That will decrease as it comes out to about here, so we don't only want it at its darkest there. And then we can just go backtrack a little by using the grey and then the ochre, like that. Now, the two options we've got, we can either use it, we can start by using the paper, not the paper blender, the colour shaper, and see how that works. That's quite nice, yes, I'm quite happy with that, but I would be happier with the ivory. So we bring the ivory back in. That's got to have a little bit of light on that edge because there's a little bit of light filtering through down there, and the rest of it. And you see now how you can grade this back in, and when all that the stairs are in, it's going to look very realistic. I'm quite happy with that, so I'll carry on and show you what the end product looks like. Now, I've put the stairs in now, but I've got to put in a rail, and I thought I'd show you how that works. Put the two posts in, and then this one now, you're not going to see very much of that one because that goes onto that side, but just do it anyway. You never know, you can just barely see it there. And there's a couple of little support posts coming up. Shadow between here and here. And there's another little trick we can use, because I want to make this darker than that. Just on this edge I can just filter in a little bit of grey first of all, and then a little bit of ochre, like that. Always slightly over the top, but that doesn't really matter because we've got the jolly old ivory to come back, and we kind of work that back in, but leave the very edge alone. And now you should be able to see quite a distinct difference between the two. Let me pull it round. See that? Now while we're there, underneath that roof there's also going to be something. We might as well do that at the same time. So we do exactly the same as we've just done on that edge. A little bit of shadow, a little bit of grey up in here. See, as you work your picture, it becomes easier and easier because you see you've got comparisons all the time. By putting all those little details in, you start to see it. That looks good. Now, the one thing we do need, and I'm going to use my sepia for this, I need a bit more shadow under here. So we start off with the sepia along there, and all the way along. Like that. And then pull that in as well. Once again, slightly over the top. If you feel like I do there, it's going a little bit too dark a tone, I can just use a bit of ochre on it. And then we use you see that line there? We don't want it to be there, so we just lose it with the ivory pencil. Now, the only colour you can use as a base colour for red is red. It might seem pretty obvious, but it isn't. If you try to put too much base underneath the red, you end up losing. And the little line is the same colour. Some of this is going to be covered with railing. Now we're going to darken that down by putting a little bit of red, dark red on it, giving me the impression, if you can, go through. So you can darken, but you can't bring the red back. Now, how does that look on the screen? Do you know, I think that's probably as good as we're going to do. But there is something that we can do that does help. Let me show you. Like this. Now, what I'm going to do is come up from this end And I'm going to trim it back by using the white pencil a little bit. See? Just trim it back so we get a better shape on the top. Do the same here. Now I've done that a lot, but because it's so time consuming, I haven't been able to show you. But there you are, I thought it would be worth showing you that. Using a dark sepia for this, down in here, I want it to be down there. I know that looks too severe at the moment, but you can't, it won't stay that way. What we do is bring our grey in, and whittle it back like that. Okay, now I think I might just have lost a touch on this edge by doing that. By turning it upside down, it's not so easy to see. That's better. But you see how good this medium is. Now that looks pretty good. I don't think we can improve it any more than that. There's a little bit of darker colour underneath there.